Then you take those 4 ideas and you put a bow around it. And that bow that you put around those 4 common sense ideas is called make the rates permanent. Get this uncertainty off of this economy. That's what's strangling our economic growth. Make it permanent. Now, that's how we stimulate the economy and get out of this economic crisis that we're in. We are in an economic crisis. And we've got other crises. We've got a moral crisis in this country. We've got an entitlement spending crisis in this country. I know something about how to cut costs. I took over a company that was supposed to go bankrupt. When I went to the Godfather's Pizza, when I went to Godfather's Pizza in 1988, 86, it was owned by the Pillsbury Company. And the Pillsbury Company pulled me out of Burger King. I was vice president of Burger King. They pulled me out of Burger King and made me president of Godfather's. But I found out later that they had already decided that Godfather's couldn't make it. It was going bankrupt. They had already made plans to write it off on its books at the end of the fiscal year. They had already decided that Godfather's was going to fail. But I didn't get the memo. Nor did my people. Nor did my customers. You want to know how we save Godfathers? This is one of my guiding principles. It's the same way we are going to save America. If you have a problem, go to the people closest to the problem, and they will probably have a solution of how you solve the problem. That's how we save Godfathers. Godfathers was a company that was trying to do too much with too little, too fast. I talked to the customers, I talked to the teenagers working in the restaurant, I talked to the restaurant managers, the assistant managers, franchisees, the people closest to the problem. And they said what Godfathers needed to do was to focus, focus, focus. We focus, focus, focus in every aspect of the company. And then 18 months later, Godfather's Pizza was making money again. Why? We didn't accept bankruptcy as a conclusion. We wrote our own conclusion. And that's what we can do with the United States of America, folks. That's exactly what we can do with it. And here's how. On all of the critical issues that we face, in addition to an economic crisis, entitlement spending crisis, energy crisis, immigration crisis, national security crisis, I don't feel real comfortable that we have a clear mission defined for every one of these conflicts we're involved in. And then we have a deficiency of leadership crisis. Most of all, here's how I would approach addressing these. The same way any successful business person goes about solving a problem. First, you make sure you're working on the right problem. It might sound elementary. Make sure you're working on the right problem. Think about it. 2 years and a few months ago, when President Obama took office, we have problems with Social Security. We got problems with Medicare. We got problems with Medicaid. We got problems with government spending. And we needed another messed up program called Obamacare. That's not working on the right problem the right way. Number 2, set the right priorities. Immigration is one of the biggest issues that we face. One of the reasons that not a lot of progress has been made is because whenever you hear people in Washington, D.C. talk about comprehensive immigration reform, that means they don't know what to do. It's code. How many years have we been hearing that terminology? We need comprehensive immigration reform. We need comprehensive reform of this. That means they don't have any idea of how to work on the right problem. We've got 4 problems relative to immigration. And I would make sure that we work on all 4 of them concurrently. Number 1, secure the border. Number 2, enforce the laws that are there. Number 3, promote the path to citizenship that's already there. It works. We just need to clean up the bureaucracy. Ask the millions of people who came here the right way. We don't need a new path to citizenship. We already have one. And number 4, what do you do about the illegals that are already in this country? Get the government out of the business of trying to fix it. Empower the states to do what the federal government is not doing. Instead of suing Arizona, they should have been given a prize. And I think a good one to give them would have been a peace prize. Suing a state for trying to defend itself is not what this nation is all about. And so, set the right priority. I heard the head of ICE, Immigration, Customs and Enforcement, make the statement he didn't have enough money to do the job of enforcing the border. That means that the right priority has not been set. Work on the right problem. Set the right priorities. And number 3, surround yourself with good people. And sometimes they might be smarter than you. That's what great leaders do. I didn't turn around Godfathers by myself. I didn't take the Philadelphia region from the worst performing region to the best performing region in Burger King by myself. And when I worked my way up the corporate ladder at the Pillsbury Company, I didn't take this huge project that they assigned me and get it that was behind schedule and over budget, and we finished it ahead of schedule and below budget. I didn't do that by myself. I knew how to surround myself with the right people. And that's part of the problem that we have today. And one of the reasons that the economic policies of this administration have not worked is because the economic team that President Obama put in place, none of them knew anything about business. And isn't it interesting? About a year and a half after they passed the stimulus bill and they put in all of these popcorn programs, cash for clunkers, cash for caulkers, cash for air. I'm not making this up. There was a, you may not have heard about the cash for air program because you probably didn't qualify. All of these popcorn programs that did not work. And then a year and a few months into this, 4 of the 5 top advisors left. It didn't work, so they bailed. Surround yourself with the right people. And if you do that, you'll be able to put together the plans necessary to solve these critical issues that we face. Social Security, very quickly. We cannot continue to trim around the edges if we're going to get spending under control. We've got to restructure programs. And all of them need to be restructured in terms of programs that will help people to help themselves, not people help themselves to the government dole. No, that's not the way it's supposed to work. I happen to believe that Social Security we can fix. And I happen to believe in the personal retirement account option. President Bush tried it, couldn't get it across the goal line for a number of reasons. But the small country of Chile realized that they have a problem 30 years ago. Their payroll tax had gotten up to 27% of every dollar that a worker made. 27% for a program that did not work. That's where we are headed. They basically put in a personal retirement accounts option, allowed people to choose either the personal retirement account option, but you still had to help fund existing Social Security benefits for those that chose to stay on the current system. So as soon as the liberals start talking about, well, you're going to basically hurt the people that are on Social Security. No, you're not. You're going to make sure that younger workers, the ones that I have talked to, are willing to forego a part of that contribution so they can take the other part and make it grow, and they'll have something by the time they retire. Personal retirement option will work. Now, you know that the last time this idea was brought up, it was demagogued by the liberals as privatization. Anytime the liberals want to attack something, they always want to bring up, it's just going to hurt old people, children, and puppy dogs. Scare tactics. Well, as I was talking to Rosemary, I talked about the liberal tactics called sin. They don't have the three tactics. S-I-N. Whenever somebody puts a good idea on the table, Representative Paul Ryan is leading the way on saying, here's how we really begin to get our hands around all of this spending. And the liberals and the Democrats have already started to demagogue the idea, talking about how much damage it's going to do to people, how much it's going to hurt people. Sin, S, they shift the subject. I, they ignore the facts. And to paraphrase Jack Nicholson, they can't handle the facts. This is why they ignore the facts. Because facts are not on their side. Facts are on our side. And I believe when we share the facts with the American people, they'll get it and they will support it. That's what we have to do. And N, they name call. Now, I have been a very active participant in the Citizens Tea Party movement going across this country. And when the Tea Party movement first got started, I gave my first Tea Party speech on April 15, 2009. The liberal media and the other liberals tried to paint the Tea Party citizens movement as a racist organization. You've heard some of the name calling. You've heard some of the terms. And here I am on the biggest radio station in Atlanta, Georgia, WSB, doing a radio show 5 nights a week, 3 hours a night, espousing my conservative views. And so when they had a hard time trying to figure out how you call an American black conservative racist, they came up with a new one for me. And it was a black gentleman who called in one night. He calls into the show, Mr. Cain. Yes, sir. You are shameless. Pardon me, sir? You are shameless. Why would you say that, sir? You are shameless being a black man disagreeing with our black president. I said, sir, I have 2 comments for you that may be difficult for you to comprehend. Number 1, some black people can think for themselves. We don't need somebody to tell us what to think. And number 2, and this concept may be even more difficult for you to comprehend. If we ever reach a point in this nation where we cannot constructively criticize our elected leaders, we will no longer be a democratic republic. We will have become a nation of tyranny, and some of us are not going to let that happen. Not on our watch. Not going to happen. And then I said to the gentleman, have a nice life. And I have been called so many names for being an American black conservative. You notice I said I'm an American black conservative. You see, I'm American at first. I happen to be black and I'm conservative, and I'm proud of it. I'm an ABC.